this car. I wanted to get...
Okay guys, I want to talk to you about how we test an EGR for good flow. Particularly, come over the cooler here. Just here, if you can see that, just in that area there, that's what we call the EGR cooler. It cools the exhaust gases before it goes back into, from the turbo back into the induction of the car to go into force extra air into the induction of the diesel engine, okay? So what happens, right, when the car's cold, the EGR gas is diverted away from that turbo cooler. It will go through a normal system straight in, but as the engine heats up and needs to be cooled down, it then diverts. It is a valve that will change and open to allow gas to the EGR inert gases to go through that cooler to cool down a little bit before it goes into the engine itself. You know why we have EGR gas going back into the combustion chamber? Who can tell me? You're not sure? You can't remember? You have been taught? All right. It's obviously for pollution reasons, but it's also to lower the combustion temperature. By lowering the combustion temperature, okay, we actually lower the amount of NOx that comes out of the exhaust gases, okay, which is very harmful to us, okay? And the hotter the combustion, the more NOx that comes out of that exhaust pipe. So it's all for our good well-being. Do we delete those EGR valves? It's better not to for our own health, if nothing else, but also for other reasons, which I'll explain next when we have a class later, okay? But for now, sometimes these valves get blocked, not valves, these coolers get blocked up. And the best way to check that is through a test that I've got set up here. So we're going to actually run the engine soon. We're going to look at what the value of the mass airflow sensor is, okay, while the engine is running and the EGR is closed. We're then going to open up the EGR. We're going to expect, because we've got more gases coming into the combustion chamber, we're not going to have as much air allowed to come through. So we're going to expect to see, while the car's idling, a decrease, quite a noticeable decrease in the mass airflow sensor. If we see that decrease, we know that we've got a good flowing EGR cooler. If we don't see that, we know it's blocking up, okay? Because that means it's not going through into the engine then, okay? Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, let's start the engine up, eh? We'll start the car up. I always like to look at this in grams per second, but I'm not getting it's grams per second. All right, we've got the EGR open, so let's close the EGR first, decrease. Okay, I've decreased the EGR, so it's not opening. If we have a look at this, okay, EGR is closed. We're at about 70, so now let's increase. We're slowly opening it. We have a drop in the airflow sensor. When we close the EGR, we get an increase. That's what we want to see, okay? That tells us we've got good gas flow. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.